The lights dim, music swells, and a star emerges. A killer whale, once the icon of marine parks. For decades, orcas were the smiling faces of entertainment, leaping and splashing for our applause. We believed in a magical partnership between human and whale, never questioning the reality behind the spectacle. But when tragedy struck, the illusion shattered. These were not accidents, but desperate acts by intelligent animals pushed to their limits. The stories of orcas in captivity are not just about awe, they're about violence, broken trust, and the ethical cost of our amusement. This essay uncovers the real-life attacks that marine parks tried to hide, focusing on the fates of trainers Maris Ellington and Claudia Volhart, and the orcas Neptune and Toccoa. Their stories are a warning, a plea for understanding and change. Blue Horizon Marine Park was a Southern California institution, and Neptune was its king. A wild-caught orca, Neptune became the park's star, his image everywhere, a symbol of supposed harmony between man and predator. Torn from his family as a juvenile, Neptune learned to perform, dazzling crowds who never saw the intelligence and frustration behind his eyes. Trainers believed they shared a special bond with him, interpreting his moods as quirks, not warning signs. Yet, beneath the surface, Neptune's aggression simmered, nips, pushes, and moments of danger quietly dismissed. Management hid these incidents, protecting their asset in the illusion of a happy whale. Trainers walked a fine line, loving Neptune but always wary, knowing they were dancing with a tiger. The truth: Neptune was a king in a cage and the risks were ever present. The stage was set for disaster. The world just didn't know it yet. Maris Ellington was a true believer. Her childhood dream realized when she became a trainer at Blue Horizon. She worked tirelessly, rising through the ranks with a natural affinity for orcas, especially Neptune. Maris saw the park as a place of education and conservation, defending it against critics and believing in the bond between trainer and whale. She poured her heart into her work, documenting her connection with Neptune and cherishing quiet moments after the crowds left. To Maris, Neptune was not a monster, but a magnificent being she longed to understand. Their relationship was the pinnacle of her career, proof that love and respect could bridge the gap between species. She was proud of their bond, convinced it was real and profound, but beneath her dream, danger lurked, unseen, unspoken, and ready to erupt. Maris was living her dream, unaware it was built on a fragile foundation. That foundation was about to collapse. The day of the attack began like any other, sunny, crowded, and full of anticipation. Maris and Neptune took the stage for the grand finale, a routine they'd perfected. At first, everything was flawless. Then Neptune missed a cue, floating motionless, eyes fixed on Maris. She tried to move on, but the connection was gone. Suddenly, Neptune grabbed her and pulled her under. The crowd gasped, thinking it was part of the show, but panic erupted among trainers. Underwater, Maris fought for her life, but Neptune's power was overwhelming. The water turned pink as trainers desperately tried to intervene. Neptune ignored all commands, lost in a world of rage and frustration. The gentle giant was gone, the killer whale had returned. By the time Maris was retrieved, it was too late. The music had stopped, replaced by stunned silence. The illusion of the happy marine park was shattered. Neptune's act forced the world to confront the truth. The cost of captivity had become undeniable. Across the world at Loro Park, another story unfolded, this time with Toccoa, a captive-born orca. Toccoa never knew the ocean, only tanks and routines, his life shaped by artificial boundaries and corporate decisions. Socially awkward and anxious, he was bullied by other orcas and showed signs of depression. Enter Claudia Volhart, a patient, empathetic trainer determined to reach him. Claudia saw past Toccoa's troubles, dedicating herself to building trust and providing enrichment. Slowly, Toccoa responded, engaging more and showing curiosity. Their bond became a point of pride for the park, proof that even troubled animals could thrive with care. But the underlying reality remained. Toccoa was still a powerful predator, confined and stressed. The peace Claudia built was fragile, a temporary truce, not a cure. The stage was set for another tragedy. Claudia's approach with Toccoa was rooted in patience and understanding. She never forced him, ending sessions positively and focusing on enrichment to combat his boredom. New toys, puzzles, and varied routines stimulated his mind, and Toccoa began to change, seeking attention, engaging in training, and showing affection. Their bond was celebrated, but the fundamental problem remained. Captivity could not meet Toccoa's needs. Social tensions and lack of space persisted, and the stress of confinement was ever present. Claudia's care improved his life, but it couldn't erase the risks. The illusion of control was just that, an illusion. On a quiet December morning, Claudia and Tekoa practiced together, their bond considered strong and safe. Without warning, Tekoa attacked, pulling Claudia underwater with brutal force. Trainers watched in horror as emergency protocols failed to break Tekoa's grip. The controlled environment collapsed, trainers were powerless. When Claudia was finally retrieved, it was too late. Her death sent shockwaves through the marine park world. This wasn't a wild-caught whale, but a captive-born orca, and Claudia was his closest human connection. The incident shattered the industry's narrative of safety and control. It proved that no amount of care or training could eliminate the dangers of captivity. The risks were inherent, the consequences devastating. The world could no longer look away. Maris and Claudia's deaths were not isolated. They were part of a long, troubling pattern of orca aggression in captivity. For years, the industry blamed trainer error, hiding the deeper truth. The tank itself was the problem. Insiders knew about daily stress, health issues, and psychological trauma that never made headlines. The attacks forced the truth into the open. Aggression was a symptom of captivity, not random chance. Orcas, designed for vast oceans and complex societies, were confined to bathtubs and forced into unnatural groups. The result: psychological breakdown, depression, and violence. Documentaries like Blackfish exposed these realities, shifting public opinion. Protests grew, and the industry faced mounting pressure to change. The tragic deaths ignited a movement for reform. The world began to question the true cost of our entertainment. Orcas possess some of the most complex minds in the animal kingdom, capable of deep emotion, social bonds, and culture. In the wild, their intelligence is put to use in family pods, hunting, and navigating vast oceans. Captivity strips all this away, replacing purpose and connection with monotony and isolation. The sensory deprivation and artificial environment lead to psychological distress, zoochosis, depression, and aggression. Lifespans shorten, health declines, and frustration builds with no outlet. For orcas, life in a tank is psychological torture. The aggression we see is not monstrousness, but a desperate symptom of broken minds. Captivity is not just confinement, it's suffering. The stories of Neptune, Tekoa, Maris, and Claudia reveal a system built on misunderstanding and misplaced trust. Orcas are not monsters, nor are trainers villains. They are all victims of a flawed industry. The lesson is clear: we cannot control or domesticate such powerful, intelligent beings without consequences. Public opinion is shifting, forcing parks to end breeding and shows, and focus on sanctuaries and conservation. The legacy of these tragedies should be compassion and respect. Wild animals belong in the wild. Our fascination should drive us to protect their habitats, not confine them. Let us honor Maris, Claudia, and the orcas by learning from the past and building a future free from such heartbreak. Change is possible if we choose understanding over entertainment.